Hi guys, I'm back with another video. And on today's video, it is episode 2 from our series, Guess the Legume. So, we're going to continue on with our series. We're going to do about 10 episodes of Guess the Legume, and we're going to practice cooking different beans. My goal here is to teach you how to cook beans of all kinds and get to introduce you to different beans and teach you how to cook them and flavor them. So let's show you how to do them. So let's waste no time. Let's get started. In here, I have different beans. I have the pinto, the white northern bean, and I have Peruvian bean, and I have lentils. And I also have a bonus bean. It is like a white bean that I grew in my backyard, actually. I didn't grow a lot of it, but I grew just a little bit, but it was enough. But anyways, let's shake it and see what comes out. Yes, it's the pinto bean. Cool, let's get started. And let me show you how to flavor up these beans and cook them up. You don't really need anything fancy, just a stove and a pot. Alright, so in here I have a few spices, and I'll leave them in the description below because it's a long list. And then I have some Himalayan coarse salt and some garlic. And I have an important herb that is special to the Mexican culture. I have EpaZote, which is a really great herb that you can use. You can use it dry or fresh. That relieves digestion, helps the gut, and it helps relieve any discomfort if you have when you consume beans. It also helps remove any of the toxins or any of the chemicals that are unpleasant to our stomach. So epazote is a really great herb. Herbs are great, and spices are great for adding flavor to foods, but they're also anti-inflammatory. So I'm going to grind this into a paste. I have been soaking the pinto beans for about 30 minutes, and I drained the water, and the paste is ready. So all I'm going to do is add everything to a pot. So I'm going to add the pinto beans in the water, and I have a few bay leaves, a handful of bay leaves that I left inside when I was soaking them. So the last thing that I want to do is cut an onion. And I'm just going to add it in there and let it go for a swim. Now I'm going to put these beans in a stovetop. Now I'm going to cook these beans for about 2 hours. I'm just going to let the beans go, and I'm going to check it periodically just in case it needs more water or it needs to be stirred or whatever it needs. I will attend to it every 30 to 45 minutes or so. And that's it. Once the beans are done, I'm going to serve it up for you, so stick around for that. Okay? Adding spices and herbs to soups, beans. There are now ample evidence that spices and herbs possess antioxidants, anti-inflammatory properties, anti-tumorigenic, prevents tumors. It's anti-carcinogenic, which that means it protects you from cancer, and it is glucose and cholesterol lowering, as well as properties that affect cognition and mood. Adding herbs and spices and even roots like ginger are so helpful and super beneficial. All right, so let's talk about beans real quick. I want to share a little bit of information about beans while we wait for our delicious beans to be ready. It is taking quite some time, so we're going to stall a little bit. So here I have some tips on how to cook your beans. I have 3 tips on how to cook your beans the best way that you can possibly can. The first one is making sure that you soak your beans at least 30 minutes or longer. The longer you go, the way better. Soaking your beans in the refrigerator can make your beans so tender and delicious. Tip number 2 is to cook your beans well. Make sure that you cook your beans well. I recommend to overcook them better than undercook them. So make sure that you cook it right. You either have a slow cooker or you cook it on the stove top like I do for about 2 hours. Keep going and try it out. Make sure that every bean, or at least more than one bean, is tender. The last tip is to add herbs for less gas and stomach discomfort. I also want to tell you a few benefits of beans, why you should add beans to your grocery list and start consuming beans. Number one is one of the most longest living people on the planet consume beans. Scientists have done experiments on people that live longer, and they've came to the conclusion that some of these people have been eating a lot of plant-based foods. These plant-based foods are rich in antioxidants. They help the arteries, they prevent heart disease, and many other things. And they have discovered that beans and potatoes have been one of the ingredients that they have consumed for hundreds of years. And and the longest living population on the planet that has lived up to over 100 years of age have eaten beans. So if you want to live longer and increase your longevity, consume beans because beans are great for increasing longevity. Another benefit is they may lower cholesterol. Beans are rich in complex carbohydrates and dietary fiber, which is really good to release all that saturated fat from your body, release any cholesterol, excess cholesterol that's in your body. Fiber just pushes all those toxins out of your body. It's really healthy, but don't get confused with fiber protein powders or anything like that. Fiber is fruit, it's vegetables, it's whole grains, it's legumes. Fiber is food. It is all plant-based food that is in a whole shape, like an apple or a pear or a banana, something like that, okay? Another thing is they're a great source of iron. When I studied nutrition, and I still do, I learned that beans are rich in iron. Women that are premenstrual, they're in their fertile years and they're always having menstrual cycles, tend to lose a lot of iron. So it's important to eat a lot of iron-rich foods. I discovered in nutrition class that women actually can become anemic if they don't consume enough iron. So I became conscious about that and started looking up iron-rich foods. One of the foods that I discovered was iron-rich was beans, and I loved beans because my mom cooked beans all the time. One of the things that they mentioned that was high in iron was liver, and I was just completely turned off by that and disgusted that I kind of questioned that. I was like, why is it that something so disgusting is rich in a vitamin that I need to eat that and I don't like it. You get what I mean? So like if I don't like liver, I'm disgusted by liver. Most people are disgusted by liver, but that's the only way that you can get your iron. But I prefer, like I said, through beans because beans are very beneficial in different ways. It gives you iron, but it also gives you other things as well, like fiber. It's a complex carbohydrate, so it gives you energy and it powers your muscles and cells. Another thing that it does is it may reduce your blood pressure. It also contains folates. It lowers risk of type 2 diabetes. So if you're diabetic or you're at risk of diabetes, start eating beans. Just eat them simple. Don't add any lard. Don't add any butter. Don't add any oils. just cook it simple and see how your life can change, how your blood work will change, how your cholesterol will lower. Trust. It's also really good for probiotic gut health because it's high fiber foods. These fiber rich foods feed your gut microbiome, and it just your gut microbiome begins to thrive and create all kinds of good stuff for us. Beans are so healthy and they're really good, and a lot of the Latin culture ate beans, especially the immigrant culture. They migrated over here to America, or they migrated wherever you're at, um, and started eating that food. But when they lived in their countries, like Mexico or Honduras, for example, like my parents, they ate lots of beans. That was like a staple meal. It was important to have beans because it was such a cheap food, but it was filled with nutrition. It definitely helped them. So it was very important to have those beans. And there was something that they didn't know that now we know today. And here in America, at least, scientists are exploring that. That we're exploring nutrition, and we're learning so much more every day about nutrition. And we're learning how beneficial plant-based foods are to the body. Well, there you have it, friends and family. An amazing, delicious bean soup. It's one of the best. I kid you not. It's authentic, traditional, it's loving, delicious, medicinal. It's all the above. Just like grandma used to make. All right, friends and family, thank you so much for watching. And thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Guess the Legume. And stick around for the next episodes. We'll be making about 10 episodes. So thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.